All right. I hope that everyone is ready, and I meet some of you guys, and I'm satisfied that you guys are happy lah with all of the information that I've given to you. Okay, now to recap back, before you try to analyze the data, right, or before you even begin your first dashboard or to visualize your data, the most important and crucial thing is that to clean your data lah, to manage your data or to manipulate your data. We call that process is data wrangling. So why I say that is important, because you don't want extra step or some redundancy you might encounter or some error when you try to load your data into your Power BI lah. That is the most important step. And then once you already clean your data, you have to identify what kind of graph that you're going to use lah, and don't squeeze all graph in one page lah, so you can make multiple pages. Okay, so I'm glad that you guys catch up quite fast, and I've seen that you guys noticed that a lot of chart that we have been utilized lah compared to traditional Excel, because Excel we have a lot of limitation. Yes, of course we can do a lot of charts, we can do a lot of visualization, but the limitation is it's so high lah, because we couldn't we we couldn't even, like, for example, like this kind of map, and then geographical map for demographic study. And also, if we deep dive, there's another interface, if you notice, right, in your Power BI. So we have Python visual. This is very new, and also it's R programming, right? But we're not going to touch that today. Okay, now, so let's go. Where do we begin? Wait, right. Let me check. All right, this is okay. All right. So last part of the first chapter would be heat map lah. Okay. Now, another same step. I would duplicate the page so that it will save my time. Okay. So you have to duplicate, and then let's check what we have to retain, right? So this one you can delete it, have to remove, and then so this will be the wait, where is it? Yeah, I think this called tree or heat map. Okay, so you can press it. Let me see what GDP and inflation. Okay, now tree map or heat map, it's almost like they don't have X and Y exists, but we can see the sizes of the box. The bigger is it, the huge the quantity. Okay, so now the value, let's say we're going to look after the GDP, right? So we put the value on the GDP, and then because it only calculate for the sum of all GDP, so we have to segregate them by country. We go here and then drag to the country. Now we can see which has the highest GDP. For example, the first one is the US, and then China, and then Japan, right? So that is basically a heat map. And then what I would do is that I would use the format painter and go over here. So it automatically make the title and the design for you, right? Now, to visualize alone from the tree map or the heat map, it's kind of useless if you don't know the value of the box. Okay, this is where data label is important. So you press this, and then on the format visual, you press this one, and then you go to data label, right? So you have your label 16K, 7K, right? If it's too small, you can increase the size. For example, I put it perhaps 20. Yeah, this one looks okay. Bold and black. So this way you can see it, right? And then, for example, you don't want to look at a 16K like that, right? You can change the, oops, sorry, 1000. Let me see. Yeah, you can change the display unit, and you can alter the decimal places as well if you wanted a very specific decimal place, right? Now, let's do another one for inflation rate. Okay, so you have to make this one small, and then press the tree map again. So you have two tree map over here. Okay, now same as the previous one that we have done, instead of GDP, we are going to put our value of inflation. Okay, since it measured the total inflation of the countries, so we have to segregate them by country lah. Right. So this is basically heat map lah, right? Format painter, and then you can copy and paste over here, and then you press it. So both will have the same format lah, right? Okay, so the title, I think I would change, remove the sum. So it's GDP in million by country, and same goes to this one. So you can basically look into this timeline, and then it's more interactive lah, rather than Excel. So in a lot of industry out there, they deal with, for example, live data or even a million data, right? So Power BI is very useful to analyze, or even to um, what do you call it? Show to your supervisor or your workplace or your colleague, because it can handle a lot of data, okay, and a lot of customization as well. So I think that's basically it for all of the first chapter. Okay, don't forget that we have very last part for our first chapter. Okay, so if you go to the last part, right, if you hold this and then you press it, hold control, okay, you hold control and then you press it, it's going to lead you to the first page. Okay, so before we are going to assign any button, we need to rename all of this so that it doesn't look confusing. I think this one is okay, but we have to rename the duplicate one. Okay, so for page one, I think we rename it as home page. For this one, correlation analysis. Okay, for this one will be heat map. All right. Now, so you guys remember how do we make a button? So basically, to make a button, you have to go insert, and then there's a button over here. So the button that we're going to assign is that blank button. This is where page rename is important, because once you put, for example, turn on the action, right? So if you go to page navigation, you can see the name of the destination lah. Okay, for example, the first page I would like to assign for time series trend. Okay. Okay. So while on that, we try to adjust the button. So I'll put a text. Let's say it's a time series trend, and then I put it on bold, black, a little bit of big, okay, middle. Okay, I think I would put what color was that? It's blue color. Okay, same color with the second page. Okay, this one, general, style, feel, blue. Okay, now we want to put a little bit of shadow, and then the curve. Wait, hold on. Shadow, turn on the border. Right. Okay, rounded corner. Sorry. So maybe I think I put 15. So this is your first button. Okay, you guys get it? Boleh. Right. So how do we navigate to this button? You press Control, and then you left click. It's going to it's going to lead straight to the page, right? So if you want to go home page, you can press this one. So yeah. So later I'm going to teach you how to publish and make your data public, you know. So it looks like a website that you can interact, and then it because it have button, you can navigate to different pages lah. We'll see later. All right. Now let's complete the other three button. Right. So we'll go to button blank. Oh, sorry. Okay. Style text. The second one should be economics indicator. Okay, since we already designed the first one, so it should be no problem to format Painter. Okay, press this one, and then it's going to be in the same design. It saves your time a lot. So let me make it the same size. Okay, so because you only copy the format, you have to assign the action as well. So you turn it on, and then go to page navigation, and then economics indicator, right? So we have to try it. You press Control and then left click. So it's going to lead you straight to the economic indicators across countries. Okay, go back to the home page. So let's repeat next two lah. Okay, insert button blank and make it down here. Put a text. This one will be correlation analysis. All right. So same as just now, we would like to format Painter. Okay. So because we only copied the format, we have to assign an action button. So go to type, page navigation, and correlation analysis. Okay. If you try to test it, it's going to this page, right? So everyone, so far so good, right? So the last one, same step, insert, button, blank. Then the last one should be heat map. And then format painter, this one, oh, sorry. Format painter. Okay, I want to make it in the same size. Okay, this button should be okay lah. Now you put an action, page navigation, and heat map. Okay, try it. Okay, it goes to your heat map. That will be okay lah. Right? So all the button is functioning, which is good. Yeah. Measure, so you can press a lot of function over here. Right? So everyone done with their button? All right. The last step is to make your data in public, right? Why do you want to make it in public? Because when you put in this way, you're not going to give this file to your supervisor to look into your dashboard. Why? Because this is like the skeleton. I know it's already completed, but it's the skeleton dashboard. Imagine if you try to do a coding, but instead of you give the full complete full stack, but you only give the what do you call that, the compiler. So it's like, but what happens if your supervisor or your manager or your friend that want to look into your end product, but he or she doesn't have the compiler? So that's why imagine that person doesn't install Power BI, so he or she couldn't open this file. So all we have to do is to publish. Okay, so you go to the home here, publish. So save it. So go to my workspace if this is your first time doing it. And you press select. Okay. Everyone is okay? Okay. Sudah. So it will give you a link that whoever that want to see your data can interact with it without installing the Power BI, right? And as well, one thing I like to use is that, for example, if you try to present, right, you can use full screen like this. Yeah, because, yes? Okay, no problem. Okay, now, okay, for publishing, so, yes. So you go to home, right? And then there's a publish button over here. Got it? Okay, press it. Some people, they might have several name on here, but I just put on my workspace lah. Okay. Then you press select. Make sure you have internet because it's going to upload your Power BI online. So you will be getting a link that whoever get this link can look into your dashboard without installing the Power BI. Right? Is it good? Semua boleh? Okay. if you receive this prompt, you have to you can try to open it, okay? So you will be directed to your full Power BI lah. Yeah. Do you get it? Or is it loading? Let me have a look. Have you connected to internet? Should be okay. Yeah, you have to yes publish.
What happens after
My-
publishing?
It's basically make your data online to to the public, but it's not entirely public. Whoever, yes, just replace. Whoever gets the link will access the dashboard. Yeah. For example, if you have your boss doesn't install Power BI, but he want to access in his tablet or any devices, he can just directly access the your dashboard. Yeah.
I have to publish it first before showing
Yes.
my boss.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
After this one,
Press this one.
get quick.
No, no, no. Open. Yep.
What about the changes I'm making?
Okay.
If I really
Every time you want to make a change, you have to publish every time and replace it every time so that you override. Yes, correct. So this is your final result. So for example, if you want to present, so what I would do is that you have to go to here, other box, and then yeah, full screen. Yeah. So like that, it will be uh, better to present lah. Better to present to your audience. So you can press it. It's like normal lah, without holding the control button. Okay. So you can press like a button lah. I've seen several dashboard. My colleague, she made her dashboard. It's like legit application where people can lively interact with real world data. For example, if you work in a big company, Grab, for example, we have a lot of orders, every day, a lot of transaction every day, right? So they will be using Power BI dashboard to update through SQL, real life data lah. So they will be having apps like this lah. Yeah. So I believe Power BI will be it's very beneficial for you guys lah one day if you get into any analyst role lah. Yeah. So back then I was at PNB. I was in charge of risk management as an executive trainee. So I calculate risk through Power BI lah, because Power BI you can do forecasting as well. And when I was at Petronas, I in charge for Petronas Unified Search and Personal Assistant. So they have this app. So my role was to calculate how many clicks on that specific button and where does the person access the apps. Okay, who is the person, where is the person, and then does the button is always got problem or not, right? So by that, I presented to my supervisor back then and used Power BI as well. But all the data was through the app, right? So I think one day, I believe that you guys might accounted what I've been accounted back then, right? So everyone is good? Okay, wonderful. So another thing is that if you notice, if you go to PowerPoint, right? For example, you go to sorry, let me insert new slide. So if you go to insert, there's a Power BI button over here. Yeah. Last time we cannot put Power BI inside PowerPoint. All we can do is to put the Excel data. But the Excel data, it's not live, it's like what? A picture or a copy of graph, and it's least interactable. So what does Microsoft did is that all the published data from the dashboard online will be interactable straight through the PowerPoint without getting out or what, right? So so you guys can open PowerPoint, and then you can see insert tab, and then there's a Power BI section. But if I'm not mistaken, it have to be a specific version because this is very, very new. It's supposed to be 365. It's not 2019 or 2013, or it have to be the most latest one lah. Yeah. But if you use the UTM license, should be use the latest one lah. Yeah. So if you guys try right now, go to insert and then press Power BI. So there will be a huge Power BI section over here, and it asks you to paste a URL. Okay. So what URL am I going to look after? It's actually this one. You Control C, and then you paste over here. You press insert. So your dashboard will be here lah. Homepage. Boleh. Okay. So for example, if you want to present, so it straight present your Power BI lah. So you can see the data update. If it's real time, it's keep moving, right? Yeah, it's a live data, and as well, you also can interact with the button. See, click here. Oh, I cannot click it on presentation mode, but actually you can try to click it and it's going to move, right? So you see, it's going to change. So if you work in a large corporation, right, this data keep moving, keep updating from time to time. So this dashboard will be benefit for those large corporation lah, right? And also it can do forecasting, predicting, for example, sales for upcoming 2 or 3 months based on historical data. So I think it's very benefit lah. But that one will be another part of Power BI, right? So any question? Boleh? All right, wonderful. So yeah, that is all about the first part. So let's go to the second part. Okay, the second part would be a little bit simple because okay, this one you can close it. Okay, save this and then close it. Okay. The second part, we will look after a car analysis, right? What car is the most purchased in Malaysia? Okay. So let's go to your Excel and car. This data I just picked from data.gov.my. Okay, it's live data and it's the most accurate one lah. Don't convert. Close. Okay, now the first thing you guys know what to do, right? The first thing is that yeah, to clean the data and to label the data. Okay, so the previous data, the date was I put as number because it was only given year, but this one it has month, day, and year, so I have to properly label as short date. Okay, and then this one will be type will be text. Maker will be text as well. Model will be text. Okay, color will be text as well. Field will be text. And state will be text. So now you have already labeled all the necessary data. Yeah, but because the data from the government that I pick is, luckily it's, I don't know, I think someone from the other end have already cleaned it. Just that we have to label and acknowledge which data is important lah for our dashboard. So since we already label it, we can move to create a table lah. Control A, and then Control D, right? And then, okay. Yes. Okay. It is short date. Yeah. The long date, sometimes it's involved time. Yeah. Like 2:30 p.m. on 31st of May. Yeah. Short date is like this. Yeah. So it's a good question. Yeah. Right. Now you save this. Control S. And then you have your data lah. Right. Okay. Let's open our blank report. Okay. Okay, now, all right. So we have our Excel here. So get your Excel. Okay, don't be confused on your data, because yeah, sometimes it doesn't show up. This is because Power BI, it meant to detect Excel on XLS file, but Excel also come with different format as well, like CSV. So you can put all file, and then it appears everything. Okay, then you press car. Right. So because we already have labeled everything, so we don't need to transform the data. So we just load. All right. So now, before, okay, if you see on the right, it automatically detects the date as a date logo. Yeah, so it means that you have already properly labeled your data. And as well, if you notice just now, earlier when we make the first data, it shows summation. Means that summation, it can be calculated or you can put an equation on it. All right. So yeah, I think that is very important. That is why it is very important. You have to label your data on Excel before you um, directly load into Power BI. Yes, it's still possible if you want to transform or you want to manipulate through Power BI, but it's going to be more tedious work, right? Because Excel have much more simpler way to do that. Right. So basically what I would do is that I would design my background canvas and put a title, right? Let's go for this one. So For this one, I did put blue. So let's put blue. So you go format report page, canvas background. So I would choose light blue. Maybe 75. Like this. Sorry. Right. Once you've done that, you can put the text box. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. I didn't put any title over here. Oh, I did put the logo over here. Okay. Instead of that, we just put logo lah. That's another approach. Okay. Let me just delete that. Or if you want to put it, it's good as well. So if you want to put a logo like this, so for example, I go to Google, I just JPG logo. JPG is basically the what do you call that? The police officer of the car lah. Yeah. Okay. And then you save the image, and then you just save it, right? So how do we load the image? So you go to insert image, and then you go to your logo, like earlier just now. So this will be your first logo, but the logo that we import doesn't have any design, so we want to have a design like this. Okay, so what we have to do is that you go over here, format image, style, and then effect. So you put a background color, right, with 0 transparency, so you can see a white background over here. Okay, now we want to put a little bit of shadow, and as well visual border. So I like to make it rounded so that it feels more, okay, it's better. Effect, visual border, so maybe I put white color over there. So you have a better logo lah on your Power BI. So because we are in charge of car, maybe you can put a title of car. So for this time, maybe I just leave it as it is. All right, everyone is okay? Okay, cool. Now, the first data we are going to make is that the number of registered car. Okay, so we press the stack bar. Okay, stack bar chart. I would enlarge it. Okay, so on your y-axis, you put the maker of the car. Wait, sorry, maker. No. Maker should be, no, yeah, it's correct. No. Maker should be x-axis, and model should be y-axis. All right. So sometimes you, I don't know about you, sometimes because if you notice the Excel that we look after just now, right? It doesn't really have a number on the row. So when you try to load in Power BI, it doesn't indicate any sum or number. It only says that. So how do I know which y and which is x? So it's actually simple. It's actually when you try to put, for example, on x-axis, what does Power BI did is that it tried to accumulate every, for example, I put maker, right? It tried to count every maker of each of the model. Yeah, that's how I understand it. Because if you can see, right, Beza, the first car, it has, wait, it doesn't show. Okay, 30,000 buyer on 2025, right? Because it count every Beza model from Produa, because uh, because uh, Produa is the maker. Okay, so that's how, if you want to identify which one is X and Y, when you try to put, if there's no number, or if there's no, for example, you couldn't identify a number as a previous data, right? So let's, everyone is okay? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so let's make this up a bit. Because this one we have already make it up, so I would personally format Painter lah, right? But it doesn't cover everything. So what I would do is that I would remove this model, because it have already mentioned in the title, and I would remove the count of the maker as well. Okay, so let's remove that. Why? Remove title, so it's erased. And I want to see the color more shine, right? So instead of gray, I want to put black. And then X exists, remove the title, expand the value, and then black, right? Now, I know this data, some people can distinguish or can identify what the value of the base are, right? Close to 30K, for example, and then 20K like Proton Saga, right? But for example, if some people want to identify, like for example, in the middle of this value, it would be a little bit hard lah. So what I do is that I put a dotted line or a label. So I put a label over here, so at least there's a value over there. And then I would personally highlight the label as black. Yeah. And then um, hold on. And then I would also try to put the dotted line. Wait, let me check. A grid line, sorry. So the grid line, you can change a solid line, dash line, a dotted line. So I personally choose the dotted line, right? So because, for example, you are the third party of the car reseller, right? You want to stock up your cars, right? So it will be impossible if you try to look up the bottom of the class. So what I do personally prefer is that you go here, and then there is the count of the maker, okay? And then you can, wait, hold on. You press the filter part, and then you expand it, and then you try to press top N. So basically, for example, if you want to sell at least top 10 highest car in Malaysia, okay, then you put the model, live filter. Oops, sorry, it's not model, it's the maker. First maker, wait, hold on. Maker, model, state. Count. Okay, sorry. Um, okay, now this is a bit tricky. So for example, if I try to drag maker, right? So when it says first maker, means that out of all of your out of all of your this one, it's going to take the only first maker, for example, Acura or Alfa Romeo, right? So that is what does it mean for first maker. So when I try to apply, it only shows the Acura or Alfa Romeo car on top here, right? So I if you want to make the real count of the car, you just press count, okay? So it will be collectively count each model of the car. For example, Beza, right? So we have top 10 car in Malaysia that at least 30,000 by 2025, right? And then comes with Azia and Myvi. So for example, if you're a reseller of the car, you want to stock up your car, or for example, if you're looking for a second-hand car, there will be high chances that you can buy a Beza or Azia or Myvi, right? So this perspective of seller, or the way that, for example, JPJ check is that what is the number of car registered every day, right? Actually, it's a live data. If you try to look after now, I think it's keep increasing lah, right? So done with that, maybe we can change the color bit. Okay, the title. Maker by model, bold, and then middle. Okay, I think this is okay, and this is great for me. So next, let's do a donut chart. Okay. All right. Now, for donut chart, we try to make which is the top car that people trying to purchase. Is it a pickup truck, or is it a jeep, or is it a motor car or a van? Okay. So the car, the car, the value will be, wait, the legend will be a type, right? Okay, it's automatically send a type for you, and then um, we want to segregate them by value. Oh, my eyes. So you can see here is that, okay, if data like this, if you're using pie chart or donut chart, it's still okay, because you can see a huge distinction between the first, second, and third data set. But if it's close to each other, for example, like what the first three top over here, I don't think it's a good data to represent. It's good enough. Okay, so since we already have this one, okay, we try to click Format Painter and press it over here. Okay, okay, let's change the title. Model by type. All right. So actually, right, you can change the position of the legend. This is, we call it the legend, right? So you can change it to top left, top center, center left, bottom center, bottom right. So I think this is okay as well, but I think I would prefer it uh, center right. I think this would be okay. And then you want to highlight the legend, you put black, and then bold, right? And then you can change the color as well. Okay, this is the inner radius. Essentially the radius between here and here. So you can play around. So we keep it on default 60. And then the label. So this is just like just now. You can prefer outside or inside, right? So you just put it outside. And the value, I would give it a bold. I would always emphasize bold because sometimes this label, sometimes it doesn't really stand out for some colors lah. So to make it safe, I would really recommend to bold every time, or make it black, or make it a dark blue or a dark color, because sometimes it doesn't it doesn't shows as a striking color, right? So that is very important. And then I think that will be a great start. So let's do the map. Okay, we get map over here. All right, now how do we tell Power BI where does our map located? Because we already labeled text on the data, right? So we actually can directly give them the state. Okay, for example, state location. It can directly detect, for example, Malaysia, right? Malaysia over here. So we can see the bubble, but we couldn't see the bubble size right now. So in order to get the bubble size, we have to make it, we have to drag either one of them, right? So I think in this case, we can put maker in the bubble size here. Right. So it's relatively small because the scale for the map is huge compared to the number of purchased car. Now, if you want to make it much more bigger, you have to go to visual, okay? Format your visual, and then from -10, you increase it. Okay, not 100, maybe. I think maybe 50 should be okay. Yeah. So as you can see right now, a lot of people keep buying car at KL, Kuala Lumpur, and Selangor, or maybe I can increase it again. I think this is better. Okay, and then I can see Johor, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so a lot of people keep buying car at this area. Yeah, actually, if the government have the data of each it's not state, district, it'll be much more better bubble, right? So now, so I usually change it to Arial because it looks better. Sorry, it looks more presentable. Right? So okay, let's see this in a better picture, right? So actually in this part, in the map, there's a lot of function lah. For example, you can have zoom function, this one. Okay, so if you turn on the zoom up function, this button will be appear. Okay, so you have lasso button. Lasso is basically you label that specific area. For example, I press this one, I just want this area. So if you have a card, for example, I give you example. Let's make one card over here. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I just put maker. Sorry. Yeah, correct. Maker, and then I put count of each maker. So we have 263 car on 2025 alone. Okay. So if you use lasso tool, for example, I want to measure the car purchase on south of Malaysia. So you just label the south, and you can see you only have 23,000 people purchase car at 2025 alone. Okay, and then you can also see what kind of car they buy. For a lot of them, they are buying Hilux, right? So you can label like this. So this is the function of the lasso tool, right? Okay. So um, let's go. Oh, this is the geocoding, and then bubble. We have to max it. Label. If you want to put label, for example, which state. I personally don't put a label on this one because most of the state we have already recognized, and if you can see on the map alone, it has their own label. So I just didn't put a label, right? And I also didn't like the heat map function unless because sometimes it doesn't visible, but it's a still new function. You guys can try. All right, yeah, like this. Let's see. Yeah, so this is basically it, and then let's try to decorate it. So let's I personally remove the title because we know it's a bubble map, and then I would design. No, I would try to copy this. Okay, copy, then remove the title. So you get this. All right. Okay. So this one would be total number of cars. Let me. So you turn off label and you put a title over here. Total numbers of cars, and then maybe you bold it and then put it in the middle, right? Okay, some people ask me about padding just now. Where do we want to use this? Right, for example, if you see, for example, you have a very tight spaces over here, right? So you definitely want to put this downward. But if I put this downward, means that my box will be smaller, right? So, but if I want to be, for example, square like this, right? I couldn't, for example, like this, I couldn't enter. So what's my option is that I do padding lah. So I just put 10, for example. So it does put the title downward, right? 15 or maybe 20. Yeah. So at least you can see the title is small center, okay, without adjusting the size of the box. Okay, now what else? Okay, we can change the decimal value. Okay, the decimal, let's see, 1,000, million. All right, maybe 0.0001 one decimal place. So you can adjust your decimal place. 3. So maybe you put 0. So you have a total of 264k car, okay, on 2025 alone. All right, next, let's put a slicer. So slicer will be here. So some of you guys were mistaken this button slicer, but this is completely different from this slicer because this is a button style slicer, right? So you can use that. I think it's not wrong, but I always use this. This is more intuitive, right? Yeah. So you press here, and then you want to distinguish by date, right? For example, here. So if you can see, you can expand this date. It will show you, for example, year, month, and day, because we already label it in Excel just now. Okay, so you can see the hierarchy. Okay, month, quarterly, yearly. Yeah, that is the most importantly when you try to label. It automatically tells you what it is or what to deal with the data, right? For example, you want to put by year. So maybe this a specific hierarchy, but I personally would leave it as it is, and then I would make it as between. Why between? Because if we put, for example, vertical list, it's going to be a long scroll, right? So it's not really good. Maybe it's good for someone who want to specifically look into that particular day. But if you want to see a ranges, it will be like this, right? So you can see what range, okay? For example, from 1st of January 2025 until 23rd of February, the highest buying car was Asia, Porto Asia. So maybe you can reduce. Okay, Beza will be the second one. But overall, Beza was the first one up to now, right? So a lot of people buying car. Secondly, people buying Jeep. And then motorcar pelbagai is like, for example, a motorcycle or a big bike, and a pickup truck on the purple, and then a van. Least people buying van, okay? So for example, if you are a businessman, you are more likely to stock up, for example, Beza Asia maybe for your Produa center, right? And then you focus on motorcar, right? So now I would copy the painter over here. So I don't like this kind of title. automatically given title. So I just remove the header, and I would personally put a date like this. All right, and then I have to bold it. So you actually can put your specific date as well. For example, from 14th of February, right? You can see it changes, right? So this is, I think, in my opinion, it's very convenient lah, slider, right? Okay, let's go to the next part. We are going to make slicer as well. Don't choose the wrong slicer. It's the normal slicer. It's not the button slicer. This one, right? Okay, now we want to segregate by state, right? Let me reduce the size. Let me resize it. Oh, wait, I think I forgot to format painter over this one. Is it correct? Yeah, format painter so that I can see the box shadow. Okay, format painter this one. So you can see the shadow, right? So let's put the title back. Slicer, title, date, bold, middle, number of cars, title, bold, middle. Maybe padding should be slightly down. Wait, hold on. 20. Okay, wonderful. So this one I would purposely to put scroll down because you can see better right here. So for example, you want to see Johor. So a lot of people in 2025 they're buying Alphard, Hilux, and Omoda Dine. And if we can see, for example, Kelantan, a lot of people buying Hilux, HRV, and Azia. So I think this is a very convenient tools, right? If you want very specifically look after each um, specific demographic, right? So there there are a lot of choices lah. If you talk about the demographic, for example, ages or what type of person, where does it live, or where does the person live, what brand is the most popular, so that you can determine on your future prediction, right? Now, okay, I think we settle on the first part. So let's go to the detail analysis, okay? So let's duplicate. Okay, what do I keep? All right. So this one, I would personally remove it. Same goes to this one. All right. Now, just now someone asked what kind of data that we are going to use and when. For example, time, I like to use line chart because you can see the progression by the time of, for example, when is the peak or when is the prime. You can see the pattern. Yeah, we can see the pattern. And for example, there are peak season, for example, on 26th of February, 23rd of March, and 20th of April. Means that maybe something, or maybe if you can see closely, it's by the end of the each month, 26, 23, and 20, means that people receiving their salary by end of the month, and they decided to buy a car for themselves, maybe like that, right? So that's why I really like, if talking about time, by that you can analyze or figure out what the data trying to tell you. Yeah, I think storytelling is very important as well, but not to extrapolate your story. Just usually when I try to do a storytelling, I usually do my personal research or market analysis based on the data. But I think I convinced that a lot of people buying car end of the month because people receive their salary, right? Yeah. So, and if you see this one, the gap between fuel and what's that? Green energy, I think. So I think gasoline. Oh, green diesel. Okay, petrol and diesel, the gap is huge. So I think it's okay if it's like this. But if the gap is so small, you couldn't distinguish between. Well, it's not to say you couldn't distinguish. When you see a small margin from a donut pie or a donut chart or pie chart, you have less convinced to make a decision, right? So I think like this, or a lot of people buying a petrol car or prefer a petrol car. So yeah, and then bar stack bar chart or column chart is the most common chart that I can say lah, right? So you can see what kind of color that people always go when they buy car. The first one is the white color, right? White and black. That's the most common car. Also, people always buy Toyota. I think this one have already filtered. It's supposed to be Produa, right? But it's okay. Later we'll look after, right? So yeah. So to recognize pattern is very important in data analysis. And usually, what I did when I was working with in my past experience, data storytelling is very important because by that my supervisor acknowledged that how far can you get with this data? Yeah, and some people say data is the new gold or a new oil because to some extent data is very important. I noticed like 10 years ago there wasn't a lot of data analysts or data science, but now most of my friends or some of my friends, a physics graduate, they're working as a data analyst or data science, right? So I think it's very important to know what kind of data that you are dealing with. All right, let's go to here. Then let's rename this as detail analysis. Then this one should be homepage. All right, now we go with the line chart. Make it big. So number of car purchase over time. So x-axis will be my date, and then y-axis will be my car. Oops, it's correct. Let me check. Kind of maker x. Wait, let me check. Kind of maker on y. It's gonna be wait, hold on. I think this is a line chart. Okay, line chart. I think it's line chart. Okay, X date. Y should be count maker. Okay, correct. Okay, let me start again. Line. Okay, this one should be date, and Y should be, I think it was maker, count of maker. Okay, let's see, count of maker. Wait, how come it doesn't show? Wait, hold on. It's not something wrong. Keep all filter. All. Keep all, number of purchase, count. Okay, legend, count, X, 8. Or it might, this one. This is not, this is wrong. It should be like this one. Ah, yes, correct. Date registered and count of maker. Yeah. I don't know how come. Oh, I think I think I think I understand. Because when I drag it, it shows multiple this one. So I think if I exit like this, it's going to be more specific, right? For example, by month, I guess, or by year. Okay, by year. By year you cannot think by day. Oh, no. It's possible by month, I think. Wait, should be like this. This one should be make sense. Yeah, I think this one should be make sense. X should be date registered and Y should be count of maker. Boleh, korang? All right. I was confused. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, now, when you look into this data, right, you can see like the pattern, the peak, right? So you don't know what date is it. Okay, so now it's time for you to label. Okay, you go here. Sorry, data label. Okay, you press this one, and then you go to data label. So you can see each peak. You know how many does it sell. Okay. Let me see. So you can see, for example, March 14,000 car, first quarter of February 28. Sorry. Okay, this one is 6,000. Okay. Now we want to remove this bottom and X and Y label. We go over here. Okay. Visual X exists, and then remove the title, and then you can bold the bottom part. Same goes with Y exists as well. Y exists value. Okay, black and bold. And then you put your title in the middle. Let's say it's a number of cars over years. All right. So, and then you put in the middle. Okay. We'll see what else. Um, okay, let's do some the dotted line. Okay, so the dotted line should be under the grid line, right? Horizontal, and then zero transparency. Wait, we put it black, so you can see the line. All right, and then what else we can do? Area. I think this is not important. Maybe you can turn on this, but I would personally not. Data label. This is not yeah, you can discover all of the visual stuff. For example, this one is detail. Background, I wouldn't put background. Multi-line. All right, I think that's about number of years of cars. Okay, now we want to make the edge has some shadow. Okay, shadow, and then make it white. Maybe this is 20, right? And then you can make shadow, so it's much more better like this way. Okay, now you can, for example, you move to Johor, right? You can see how many people purchase car in like in Johor. What's the average count, right? You can see Kedah. Yeah, so this is very helpful for business maker, right? Then I think I want to remove this one as well because we know it's the number of car. So we go to format visual. Slide, wait, it's not slices, I think. Why exists, and then remove the title. Right. I think that will be okay. Right. Let's do for the next car brand, color and field type. Let's begin with the field type lah. Okay. I would choose a pie chart because previous chart we were using a donut chart. So let's do this. Pie chart. So your legend will be fuel, and then your value will be maker of the car. So you can see most people buying petrol over here, right? So less people buying the diesel. Yeah. Majority petrol in Malaysia. So you also can change, for example, what do you call that? A type. Like, I think. Wait, I think we did this type just now. Yeah, type is also good, and also a type of petrol because the what do you call that? Type of fuel, because the gap between the first and the second and third is quite huge. So it's very distinct that you can see how far the differences between all of those kind of car, right? So I think we can try with, for example, color. Yeah, okay, if you notice color, right, the blue here and okay, both blue here, the light blue and the dark blue, it shows almost identical. So and then you can see this and this orange, dark purple and light purple, it shows almost the same size of chart, so it will be useless if I will read this kind of data. Some people would be okay, but especially for example my supervisor at PNB, my supervisor doesn't like a data that really shows the less quality output, you know. So I would personally don't choose color, so fill is a good choice lah, right? All right, let's make it up a bit. So you go to detail. I would highlight all of the label, okay? Because it have a huge, what do you call it? You can make it inside. Oh no, inside is not outside. No, I think outside would be great. Okay, and then I would want to highlight the right part. This one. You go to general properties. Okay, I think it's visual. Should be under legend, text, yeah, dark and bold. This one should be okay. And then change the title, okay? Title. Where's the title? General. Title. Let's put maker. Maker by fuel. Number of cars by fuel. You put bold and then dark color. Right, and then put in the middle. Because it's too top, so I would suggest you to do some padding, right? Maybe 20 or I think 30 should be okay. Yeah, I think this should be okay. All right. I would put another effect as well. For example, visual border and shadow. And I put this one in white color and 20. So it should be almost the same as rest of it, right? I think this should be okay. And I think I would like to be aware lah, to use pie chart, because for me is pie chart, if the number close to each other, it will represent not to say useless, the data is not presentable to someone's eyes. It's not nice lah to see. Okay, all right, let's go to another part. Let's go to the color and the car brand. So let's do a stack bar chart. Okay, so y-axis should be color and x-axis should be the maker of the car, right? Okay, the top is, so you can see the top choices of car that Malaysian always choose is gray. Second one is white, yeah, and then silver, red. So you can see the pattern. Most of people choose black, red, silver, white, and gray in Malaysia, right? So you can copy this from one painter and go to this part. I would personally remove this one and this one as well. So y-axis, you have to remove the title. And x-axis, you have to remove the title as well. Since the label is not that stripe color, you can put bold color like dark or black, darker color or black. So you go to general, visual, Y, values, and dark. And then you can bold it. So I think that is much better, right? Now, usually like this kind of data, I always put data label as well, and also dotted line. Just to make sure that people confirm the value that they are witnessing, right? So this is good enough lah. I mean that it will be great if you have a dotted line or what do you call it, data label, so that it will be supplement what info that the user wanted to tell, right? So data label and as well grid line, grid doc. So I think this one would be okay. Okay, because the X is not that prevalent, so maybe you can bold it. I'm sorry, this is why. X value dark bold. So I think this is okay. So you can see much more better, much more clarity, right? For example, 68K for gray, white, silver, and red and black, right? Okay, cool. Let's do next one. This one would be a car brand. Just now we do a car model, you know. A model is a very specific in the car brand. So right now we're going to zoom out a bit to see what kind of brand that people really wanted to buy, right? So I think this one should be Prodoa or Proton. So let's find out. Model should be y-axis. Maker should be x-axis. Sorry. Model should be. Sorry. Okay. Now, hold on. Let me resize it. Format painter should be the same. All right. Now, you can see right now the top cars are the Malaysian national cars, Prodoa and Proton. You can see in 2025 alone, Prodoa 112,000 cars has been purchased by Malaysian in 2025 since the 1st of January. That's a lot. That's like that is exorbitant amount compared to Proton, right? You can see it's like almost double from Proton. So, but the top three choices is Prodoa, Proton, and Toyota, and comes Honda and Cherry, I think Cherry Mitsubishi. So that's how you read the data, right? So usually I would do, for example, top 5 or top 10 of the data lah. For example, if I do top 5, right, all of my data, for example, the model top 5, maker top 5, all of it should be constant lah. But for the sake of reading the data right now, so I just leave it as it is, right? So I would like to teach you another. Let's make a button, right? A button over here. Insert button blank. So you have a button over here. So this button will be going to a home page, right? So you put your title. Wait, you put your text, and then you put home page. Okay, do not confuse between text and title. If you put title, for example, here, right? It will be on top of your button, which doesn't look really nice lah. So that's why you have to put on. It's not title. It's your button text, right? Now, for your button text homepage, you can copy, for example, this one, Painter. Oh, maybe the padding should be a 0. Oh, title should be turned off, and then style black, bold. Shadow, glow, white. This is black. Oops. Wait. Couldn't see. Style. Not border. Shadow. Shadow is correct. Okay. So your button should be like this. Wait, let me see. Let us make a border so that it looks more be like fill. Okay, let's do an action on it. So this one should be going to page navigation, home page, right? So you can press the link, control and press. It's going to go to your home page, right? So let's look into a car model, right? So just now I was confused between metrics. This is metrics. Yeah. Because one thing about metrics is that you can see the maker and you can put your column as fuel and it tells you what car like this lah. Yeah, so this is metric and this is the map, right? Okay, let's do that. As usual, we can duplicate this one. I think this one should be, the button should be blue. Style, well, let me change the button a bit. What the fill, no, snow border, shadow. Wait, why does it shows like white line? Let me create it now. Insert button, black, uh, style, text, home page, then black, bold, fill with blue, and then shadow, border, shadow. Home painter, oh, shape, style, fill, oh, this border, shadow icon. I don't know why this does show white, but it's okay. Let's put navigation and then home. Right, let's do this. I think this will be our last part, right? Before we go to Q&A. Yes. Your what? Your button is not working. Let us see. Oh, sorry. All right. Which part of your...
Action, page navigation, page one.
Okay.
So when I press,
Okay. Because this is because you put general. Okay. Press general. Because you put title,
so
it should be text. Okay. Remove the title. So you try to press again. Just press. Control and press. I see. It's already moving. The reason why is that I think it's a bug.
it should be about
Yeah, I think it's a bug. So it shouldn't be a title.
Why make a title function if you can put
Yeah, that's the thing. So, in order to avoid that, I always remove the title and use the text. Yes, I always use the text editor. Yeah.
Where is the text?
Okay. Button, shape, and then down. Oh, I think it's style. Yeah, there. Turn on. Then you can put home page. Yeah, I think it's a bug. Yeah. All right. No problem. Okay. Everyone okay? All right. Ini adalah part terakhir kita akan buat. We are going to make a matrix and also a map lah. Very last one, and then a button lah for very last try. Okay. So for this one we put car model. Okay. You can try to delete all of this. All right. Firstly, we are trying to do map. Okay, for map we have to state the location. All right. So you have Malaysia right there. Okay, then maybe we put model of the car for the value. I'm sorry, not this one. Delete model of the car for the bubble size. And then again, because the scale is so small, just you should increase it. Okay. Yeah. They actually have a lot of magnitude, right? So I personally remove the text on the title over here, and I put Arial. So I think this is better lah. And then I would do a rounded style as well. A rounded style as in, wait, hold on. Oh yeah, there. A shadow and wait, a border is it? No. A shadow. Yeah, I think this is 20, so that it has a rounded corner like this, right? Or maybe you put white color so that the dark corner doesn't show up. So effect and visual border, and then maybe put white color. So it's going to be like this. Okay, last but not least, metrics. So I think metric chart, I think a bit underrated lah, because it almost like the scatter plot, but it's in the box type, right? And instead of x and y axis, it has row and column and also value. Okay, so here I put row for maker and column for fuel. Okay, row for maker and column for fuel. Okay, the value should be, okay, the value model. Okay, first model. So you can see, for example, BMW 3 Series have a diesel, right? So this is basically a table chart that tells, but the limitation is that it doesn't list all of your models, but you can play it around because um, sometimes it give counts. For example, BMW have 3 diesel, 8 electric cars, like that, right? So this is what do you call it? The method lah. How do we look after this calculation? Okay, now what does the differences between count distinct and count? I used to confuse between these two value. So what I noticed is that for count distinct, for example, let's say BMW lah, right? BMW diesel. We have 3 uh distinct model. Wait. Let me see the easy example lah. Right? I think let's do Proton. Okay, Proton. Pro2. Okay, let's do Proton or Pro2. Proton. Wait, I think I haven't cleared the filter. But basically, for example, right? Count these things that it measure distinctly on each car. For example, your Proton car, if it's count distinct, means that if it's count, we, for example, if we have 3 Pro2 Saga, if it count distinct, it only count as 1. But if you press count, if you press this count, it's going to calculate all Saga, 3 Saga. But if you press count distinct, for example, we have 3 Saga, 2 Alza, and 5 Beza. It's going to say 1 Saga, 1 Alza, and 1 Beza because it distinct count each category. So that is what does it mean. Okay, and then yeah, I think that's all for this part. All right, and last, I think you should try to make last button, right, before we go to the Q&A session. Okay, so for the button, we go for here and then go to the blank part. And then, for example, you want to name this button as, okay, like our friend just now, he couldn't press the button because he used the title. I'm not sure why the title exists because sometimes it is bugged. So don't use title, just use this text. So if you use text, the button will be working lah. Detail analysis. I put it black and bold. Shadow and fill. Border. So for this one, I would do as in page navigation, go to detail analysis. So if you want easy, you press this one, you control C, you control V. So you have to, and then since you have to, you just change the action. For example, I want to go to car model, right? And then you can just do, where's the text? Okay, car model. Yeah, sometimes you can do Control C, Control V as well. So if you press this, it goes to your car model, right? So if you press this, hey, detail analysis and car model, okay? So before you save it, because you want to present to your customer, with the client, or to your supervisor, to your manager, all you have to do is to publish. Okay, so I think I can name it as all right, I can publish it. So same as just now, publish. Okay, so basically, if you publish, you can put in on your your PowerPoint, and then you can present it. For example, um, if if you don't have install application, you can straightly navigate, right? And then you also can interact with the data set. So I think that's pretty much about Power BI that we learned today, right? And I think it's very comprehensive that you learn. I think you learn quite advanced compared to what I have been exposed during I was intern.